Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Box. The Springboks have officially launched a brand new jersey ahead of the test season, just hours after naming the first team of the year to face the Barbarians this weekend. The Springboks have debuted a new kit, a new away jersey as well, which will please a lot of people. No more sort of Checker 60 kit, as a lot of people tend to call it, but it is a new kit and a bit of a new look for the Springboks going into this weekend. New sponsors as well. So no more NTN on the front. Obviously F&B coming in. And a bit of a hesitant to say how I really feel about the jersey. I'm hoping it's one of those things you'll kind of see it in person. Maybe it'll grow on you. I actually prefer the last one, to be honest. I prefer the one we had. I really like the collar, for example. And I think we had nailed the home kit. The away kit, yeah, bit of an acquired taste, so to speak, and the coloring as well, maybe not probably the biggest issue. But before we look at it, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Being debuted there by Chester Colby. Now, first of all, things to note. No more traditional collar. Don't like that. I loved the yellow collar. I think that it was so nice. I think that we had sort of the whole, bring the collar back movement, and everybody was talking about how good they looked. We've ditched the collar, and we've gone to a sort of a cross sort of V-neck, sort of square collar type of thing, with like a yellowy type of pattern, I suppose. Apart from that, it's basically a plain jersey, to be honest. F&B in the front there, in the yellow. The Nike tick has actually probably moved up a little bit from what it was. It was basically a little bit lower than the two logos, and then the F&B. The socks also different. With the two yellow stripes there, we have seen different variances when it comes to the Springbok sort of socks. Sometimes just sort of green with sort of yellow patches. Now we've gone with the two stripes, for example. So that's what it looks like. Now, as I said, it's pretty plain, to be perfectly honest. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with Bok jerseys. We've seen various different things over the years. And often keeping it simple is better. To me, it looks like a supporter's jersey. It kind of just looks like a training jersey, in all honesty. I think with that collar, it doesn't scream match jersey for me. That's my only sort of potential sort of thought about it. I mean, I think it'll look, we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in person. I think the green itself and the green and gold is really nice. I think that's also something that's been quite a contentious thing. If you look at the Asics green versus the Nike green, obviously we had the stripes with a different type of green. But I do think that the green itself in the Nike range is the right type of green, which sounds silly, but it is. It's just kind of that traditional, really rich sort of color. That is the away kit, and we've got a bit of a close up there. So it's basically the exact same thing, but inverse with white with the green, and then the yellow becoming the green part over there. So next to no real sort of yellow within the away kit itself. And a couple more photos, and then they've got a long sleeve as well. But if you look at the away kit, again, it kind of screams training jersey to me, to be perfectly honest. Even the actual material itself seems to be something that looks a bit more sort of stretchy, a bit more sort of a polyester maybe than the other ones, which looked a bit sort of firmer and more sort of held its shape a little bit better maybe. So it's not jaw-dropping, to be honest. It's not certainly not as contentious. So it is probably a much nicer away kit than what we've seen previously. The green under the arms, I think it's a bit arbitrary. It kind of sort of is a bit of a throwback, really, to kind of maybe the Sassel kit kind of reminds me of in terms of the away kit. But I think that my biggest gripe is the collar. If that had a proper nice green collar, for example, if the away kit or home kit had a collar, because that's the thing. Looking at that kit, for example, they've gone with the whole old school white, and they've got the traditional Springbok logo, which is obviously very cool. That for me, it's the collar that makes it, isn't it? It's always the collar that makes the jersey. And some of the best jerseys, have got different types of collars, but that for me, that it isn't a collar. It's collarless, really. It's a round neck shirt. It's V-neck. And that's probably my biggest sort of gripe. That, for me, is a gorgeous shirt. It doesn't look terrible on. I think that's the big thing, is that obviously when you look at the players wearing it, it looks a lot better than I think just the samples. I still think it looks a bit training shirt vibes. So, look, the proof will be in the pudding. We'll have to wait to see what it looks like on TV. Have to see what it looks like in person as well. And, there'll be all the different technology that'll go into the jersey that will come up, and I'm sure it'll be a reveal about why this jersey is like a next thing. And the big thing is that apparently it's supposed to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of the 1995 World Cup, which is why it has been released today. And yeah, I mean, for me, if you're going to honor the jersey, I mean, that's probably, more what this jersey is all about, really, is honoring that one. And that's the sort of the heritage jersey, what they've done. But I think you could have done a very sort of similar sort of jersey to what the original jersey in 1995 was. So in terms of the cutting edge materials, that it says that it is not only a heritage celebration of heritage, but also a testament to modern sportswear. It says the new neckline is inspired by the protea in a design rooted in green, yet crowned by the king protea's leaves. So that's what those things are. It's the leaves. And in the actual jersey itself, it says forever green, forever gold, hashtag forever sports. Not sure they'll be around by us, but we'll let it go for now. So in terms of Ruben also, he said Nike has done a superb job to produce a kit range that both honors the traditions of the Springboks while giving it a modern design edge. We also choose to honor the 30th anniversary of the 1995 victory that was such a watershed moment for rugby and for South Africa. We believe the replica kit and the wide range of lifestyle apparel and fan-centric accessories that will go with it will allow supporters to wear their pride wherever they go, and especially on Black Fridays. The home and alternative kit, as well as the lifestyle collection, will be available from Wednesday. So from tomorrow, you can go and get all the different kits if you'd like. Which one are you going to get? Are you going to get the away kit, the home kit? I think Heritage jersey will probably be the most a popular one, and fair enough. I think if I were to go get one, I'd probably go and get the Heritage one. If anyone who feels like buying me one, let me know. I'm happy to send delivery details, because unfortunately, the one thing we do know is that it's not going to be cheap. They've really sort of upped their merchandising recently with regards to sort of the amount of money they can make out of it, and it's been a huge revenue boost for SA Rugby as a brand to be able to get that sort of most merchandising sales. So we're not going to see particularly cheap jerseys, I can tell you that much, for free. Hopefully, we will see fan replicas which are affordable and that we can get our hands on and can go and support the green and gold. Because I've actually got two of the last design. I had the World Cup one as well as the traditional one, which had the MTN logo. So not sure I'm ready yet to go get another Bok jersey. Maybe it'll be a time to get a away jersey. Maybe I have to go see what I look like in white. But personally, I think that where's Mr. Rusty? That is probably what's going to be in my cart some point in the next month or two. Get my hands on that heritage jersey. So there it is. What are we thinking, people? What have you got to say? How would you improve it? How would you change it? What do we think about the F&B? For me, it's very low, is the one sort of thing I will say. It seems to be very low on the shirt itself. So it is very big. At least it is a monotone logo. That is something the Boks do very well, is they make sure that they've got a monotone logo. You don't see different colors all sort of jumping in around there. You let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. Now, based on a video posted last night by Rassie Erasmus, I thought I would talk about the secret behind the Springboks. What drives this team to be two-time back-to-back World Cup champions? I'm talking about this particular team. What drives this team to have won a British and Irish Lions series, to have won 2 rugby championships, to be genuinely contemplating a three-peat in 2027? And to be honest, it's not even completely out the realms of possibility, because right now it is pretty widely accepted that the Springboks are the strongest side in the world from a depth point of view, from a big game mentality point of view. And I think if there was a World Cup tomorrow, they'd go in as favorites. And I think at this rate are trained towards going in as favorites as well. And today I want to speak about exactly what makes it happen and what Rassie Erasmus has done to make it happen. And it's quite a simple answer, to be perfectly honest, but we're going to take a deep dive into all the individuals that kind of power the on-field performance. And it's such a big team that drives the Springboks. It's so much more than the 23 players you see on the squad. I mean, even the coaching staff itself can fill up a box, because there are so many people with small different roles. And it's not obviously uncommon to have coaching staff made up similar to what the Boks have, but I'm talking about the personalities and more about what makes the Springbok team tick and why they can sometimes achieve a different level to some of their competitors. And the answer is right people. Rassie Erasmus's big mantra, his big sort of, secret, I suppose, is not the best people necessarily. the right people, which can then become their best people. And that means you don't go out and find the person who has got the best defensive record in the world and make them your defense coach. You don't go and find, the doctor with the most successful, rehabbed players or whatever, and say, right, that's our team doctor. You don't go and find, who is the best possible, conditioning coach in the world, regardless of, background, sport, and the likes of that, and make them your conditioning coach. Rassie Erasmus went out and specifically put together a team of the right people with the right mentality, the right personalities, and the right sort of attitude. And that team looks a little bit like this. So this was last year when they announced a couple of the new coaches and the likes of that. And we're going to be sort of diving into that team, which has grown, by the way. That's got no Felix Jones, for example, who's come back, and doesn't include a couple of other players or key players within the Springbok coaching sort of support staff that really get into it. So last night, the reason I'm sort of talking about it, we saw a video about Don Human and the fact that he's been working with individuals on his farm in Bloemfontein. I mean, how's that for a story? Asnat and Klabakanye, whenever he had gaps, would drive 4 hours to Bloemfontein to spend time working with Don Human, working on his conditioning, working on his scrummaging, and basically allowing Don Human to mentor him to becoming the best player possible. As a result, he's starting the number 3 jersey this weekend. I think Asnat and Klabakanye will become a 50-plus Springbok. Springbok. I genuinely think. I think he'll be at the next World Cup, and I think he's going to become a potential Springbok legend if he can kick on from what we're seeing in the URC. Now, that, for example, is a small anecdote of what makes the Springbok staff so special. So we'll start with people like Deon Davids. Now, Deon Davids, and I mean the core group really, along with the likes of a Don Human, who came in a bit later, but Deon Davids on Dita Stick, they've been there since the beginning with Rassie Erasmus. Deon Davids is a very interesting character. He's very quietly spoken when you meet him. He's quite a subtle guy, and I think very underrated. This is a man who took a struggling EP Kings, or Southern Kings at the time, and beat the likes of the Sharks. He's got head coach experience, very much works with the forwards, and his job is basically sort of your lineouts and your sort of general forward play. Not the scrums, but those sort of set pieces. And he's very good at it. And I think what the big thing about Deon Davids is that he's quite hard as a coach and demands very high standards without necessarily being, that sort of big in-your-face type of character. And I think he's quite an innovator as well from what we're seeing. So a very quiet figure in the box, but a very important one. Zwandile Stick. Well, was quite a controversial appointment back in the day because of his lack of coaching experience at the time. Had coached sort of under 21 levels. I think it was Vodacom Cup levels type of thing. And all of a sudden was thrust into a Springbok coaching role. And a lot of people spoke about the fact that, they're sort of just grooming him to be the next Bok coach type of thing. Does he really enjoy it? What's his real role? Because he was basically labeled the backline coach, which he's never actually been. So Dina Stick's, big role, official role is off the ball coaching. So basically what's happening when the Boks don't have the ball in hand. Even players who just don't currently that are currently being utilized, for example. What are they doing off the ball? Their work rate, their positioning, their skills, for example. But for me, Zwandile Stick, the reason why I think he could become a potential head coach is we talk about personalities. Zwandile Stick is an incredibly good people person. He demands high standards of people, not just as players, but as people. And he's got that EQ as well. So you watch him sort of talking with players, talking with Rassie Erasmus, even talking to the media. He just gets it. And, he's someone who's told Rassie Erasmus to, back a Makazoloma Pimpi. He brings a whole different experience with regards to how, black players have come through and sort of the treatment they've gotten, what drives them, for example. And I think the big thing about the Boks, and Felix Jones mentioned, is the diversity. Now, Zwandile Stick brings a complete different perspective to what a Rassie Erasmus would have, a Jacques Nienaber would have, for example. And that has been so important in terms of the cultural integration of this side. And I mean, Zwandile Stick is going to have a completely different background to this man over here, Don Human. But it's the ability to be able to bring those sort of cultures together that is so important. Now, this man, the scrum doctor, as everyone sort of comes to call him, wears his bucket hat with pride. This is the genius behind the Springbok scrums. Now, Don Human, if you watch Rugby, is not a name a lot of people would know. He's not one of the legendary Springbok props that played, he's not an Oyster Run, for example. Your Guthrie Steenkamps and the likes of your BJ Boerters, Tina Mtawiras. He was never the sort of superstar when it comes to props. But this man is producing superstar after superstar after superstar. And for someone who drives such high standards, who I think is a very hard person, I think he pushed you really hard, has got an incredible amount of care for his players. You can see how, first of all, how he loves the scrums, but he loves his pack and his forwards, and he fights for that. We saw in Chase the Sun, for example, fighting for more forwards in the team, fighting for ways where they can find sort of scrums and stuff like that. And that video last night of him working with Jan Hendrik Wessels, working with Asanate and Klabakanye, there is a genuine bond between him and his front rows. And we're seeing him push props to do the unthinkable, and yet they're willing to do it. There's a bond there that exists between him and I mean, how many coaches do you know that would willingly invite young prospective players to come to their farm, to come and stay with them, to support them, to work with them individually? I mean, that is above and beyond what your sort of capacity of a coach is. But it's that sort of same amount of care that brings out the best. And I think that he's busy working, and we saw it last night in particular, but highlighting two potential superstars in Jan Hendrik Wessels and Asanate and Klabakanye. He cares because their success is his success. And again, it's that sort of that going beyond, above and beyond between all three of these sort of type of characters that really sort of stands up. You then got this man over here, bit of a mad scientist, I think behind the scenes, really. He brings so many different things to the table. He's a tremendous analyst. He can see, he understands and reads the game particularly well. He often does the feedback, for example, to World Rugby in terms of refereeing decisions, stuff like that. When they send those videos with sort of clips, he often is the one doing that and narrating it. Very quiet character, Felix Jones, in terms of we don't get to see him in the media. He's even at training, for example, you don't often see him in the early stages. But when we start to see Chasing the Sun, we're seeing the value that Felix brings. First of all, he brings a completely different perspective coming from outside of South Africa. Young player as well, injuries sort of cut his career short, and very willing to work to learn. One of the big things about Felix Jones, which I think everybody's starting to understand, is work ethic. He is a tremendous hard worker. I mean, he's spending hours and hours analyzing, working individually, finding small things. And there's that sort of sense of collective, I have to work hard. Felix Jones is working until 2 a.m. in the morning, on analysis. Don Human is bringing players to the farm to try and get them right. All these things are doing, all the different coaches to make this team successful. Then you've got outside people. This for me is what brings such a masterstroke, and I include Felix Jones in this because he was kind of the first sort of outsider, him and Andy Edwards, who we'll talk about in a bit. But Rassie Erasmus then, after the last World Cup, said, right, now we need to develop. We need to, transform and sort of evolve. So he says, right, I need two new people in, and one to really kind of help with the attack, given the fact that Felix Jones is moving on, and someone to work with the defense. And he goes, right, who do we need to beat? We need to beat Ireland, we need to beat New Zealand. Those are the two top rugby teams in the world, which means that they come with a lot of good rugby structures and ideas. So he goes, right, I'm bringing in Jerry Flannery from Ireland, who he's worked with before, understands, and he brings a whole completely new perspective. He brings an Irish-backed sort of perspective to the Springboks. And those sort of new ideas, yes, you'll understand, having worked with Rassie Erasmus, how Rassie Erasmus thinks, but can bring a whole different skill set, a whole different view. He was quite upfront about the fact when he arrived, he's not Jacques Nienaber. He doesn't want to be. And, again, bringing a fresh perspective and bringing in elements of an Irish team or Ireland setup, for example, that have been growing tremendously over the last 10 years, is going to add valuable input. And then Rassie Erasmus goes and pulls out a masterstroke and says, why don't I bring a Kiwi assistant coach in to help with our attack, and specifically to work with our flower halves, because we've got such good talent. We've got a Satch Family coming through. We've got a Mind Debot coming through. We've got a Jordan Hendricks, to name a few. And Tony Brown comes in and brings in that whole new sort of type of flair. And I think that this is going to be one of the biggest ones, one of the masters that Rassie Erasmus had. We saw it last year already, a bit of that New Zealand flair. But the big thing, again, bringing in players or people like Jerry Flannery, like Tony Brown, is how do we adapt it to a Springbok point of view? And we've seen how we've sometimes gotten the balance right, sometimes got the balance wrong. But Tony Brown, for example, you see him in training, working individually with flower halves. It's a complete different perspective you're going to have with a Tony Brown compared to a South Africa attack coach. When a Swayster Brain, for example, was working as attack coach. Very different types of perspective. Tony Brown obviously played at the highest level, but came from a New Zealand point of view where that's a completely different culture. Those are your sort of main coaches. And again, all different experiences. This is, I think, my biggest point. A New Zealander, an Irishman or two Irishmen. Somebody like Mzula Stick growing up in sort of some of the townships in PE. Dion Davids and having to work his way through a struggling Southern Kings, work with what he's been given there. A Don Human, tough, bred in Bloemfontein, sort of in the Free State type of character, very similar to Rassie Erasmus, but massively different personalities all coming together as one. A very underrated part about Springboks is the attention to detail that they do. And I tell you what, somebody like a Jaco Paper is a phenomenal person to be able to bring in, because the Boks at one stage, first of all, had those issues with referees, with Rassie Erasmus criticizing them. And then they said, right, well, with the laws changing so much, we've got to find a way of making sure we get it all right. So they bring in Jaco Paper, who's obviously a specialist on the laws, given the fact that he was one of the most experienced referees ever. So all of a sudden, you got two things. First of all, Jaco Paper comes in, provides fresh insight. Right, guys, when we're looking at scrum, this is what we look for. This is what you got to prevent doing to be able to get penalized. Second of all, working experience. As a player now, when you're having your training games, for example, you're running your drills, you are being officiated by a former international top-class referee, which means that you're getting live feedback as you train about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and what you're going to be penalized from. And you can't kind of get that simulation anywhere else. Then you bring a bridge in, Dwayne Vermeulen. Dwayne Vermeulen read a game of rugby better than most players, I think, that have ever played the game. He's also a big personality. He's also a personality that doesn't sit down and he's not afraid to speak up. And as a result, he sort of already took on a lot of coaching responsibilities back in the 2023 Rugby World Cup. And he's sort of gone immediately into coaching. Now, when I say the bridge, some of the biggest problems that some of the best coaches have in the world is being able to get their players to buy in and being able to understand how their players work and what the feelings are of the squad and to get everybody aligned. This is where, for example, a Dwayne Vermeulen is a masterstroke of an appointment, because you've now got a person who's a bit younger, he's just played, and he understands exactly what the players think, but is also now bringing the coaching perspective. And as a mouthpiece, for example, for both, it means that he can be a mouthpiece for the squad to the coaching staff if they feel like being heard. But similarly, he can sort of give that perspective to players and say, well, I was in your boat 2 years ago, guys. I don't think what they're asking is unreasonable, for example. This is what they're asking you to do as a player. This is how they asked me to do it. This is how I responded. This is how it worked. He's a proven product of how his coaching staff can produce the best in people, because we saw how well he played under them. And then the men behind, and two very important players, Lindsay Vare as well as Paddy Sullivan. Lindsay is the head technical analyst, and then Paddy Sullivan is the performance analyst. These two are the unsung heroes, really. I think these two and this man are the unsung heroes in this Bok management. The analysis that goes on in the Bok sessions and matches is absolutely incredible. This man over here has got more cameras than I think I could ever know what to do with. If you go to a Bok training session, there are two drones
Hello and welcome, everybody. It's the time we've all been waiting for. The Springbok international season is underway in 2025. Coming up shortly, kickoff in Cape Town. It's the Springboks hosting the Barbarians for the very first time. What a clash! I'm looking forward to taking you through on this rugby journey. What an exciting time. Give your score predictions in the comments section. Tell me from where in the world you tuned in. And let's go on this journey together. Kickoff underway at 10 past 5 South African Standard Time. Whether you're a South African supporter or if you're supporting the Barbarians, give your comments. We want to hear here on Forever Sports. We are because of the fans. And from ourself roots, it's an absolute pleasure to take you through this one. I'm going to take you through the starting 23 of each side. But I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. I hope you are. I hope you have your refreshments and you're ready for this one. Rassie has put on his thinking cap and he's getting ready for the three-peat in 2027. It starts here against the Barbarians. Of course, the Springboks look forward to Italy for 2 games and then Georgia, and then they tackle the Rugby Championship. We're looking at 14 international games this season. Of course, then concluding with the end of year tour. But let's bring the gears here on Forever Sports to every single one of you tuned in. What a pleasure. The Springboks are going to get underway and we get to go through it together. Uzel Muton says, America. Mangaburu says, Babas. Operator Hoot 470, Dublin, Ireland. What a time to be alive when the Springboks are playing. Conditions perhaps not ideal for running rugby, but the rain has held its own for now. Underfoot, it's pretty damp. But no doubt we're in for an exciting clash nonetheless. And on that note, let me take you through the starting 23 of each side, starting with the Barbarians from 1 to 23. Cian Healy, the Irish international, in at loose head. Camille Chat, Paul Allo Emile at tight head. Ruben van Heerden, the South African, looking to stake a claim and make some noise that Rassie can open his ears and say, I'm putting my hand up. Look out for me. David Ribbons, another South African, plying his trade in Toulon. An Irish stalwart who's captaining the side today at number 6, Peter O'Mani. Sam Kane at 7, former All Black captain Shannon Frizzell, another New Zealander at 8 to make up the forward pack. 9 to 15, Tawara Kabalo at 9, Josh Jacob at 10, Jacob Ratumaitavuki Neepkins at 11, Peter Manga Jensen at 12, Lester Fainganuku at 13, Mark Talaya, the forgotten. But he's back and he's ready to go. as they get ready for the national anthems. I'm going to take you through the rest of the teams. At 10, Kurtley Orange, 11. 12, Damien Delende. 13, Jesse Creel captaining the side. 14, Cheslin Colby. And 15, Apalele Fassi for the Springboks. 16 to 23. Marnus van der Merwe, another debutant in the Springboks setup. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Nietling Forshey, Franco Mostert, Kwacha Smith, Corbus Reinach, Mani Lebok, and Andre Esterhazen. We're in for some quality rugby, folks. The teams are out on the field. We're almost rearing to go. What a clash we're in for here. We're excited to go through this one. We hope the rain stays away. We want to see some tries. We want to see Russies thinking behind this new Springbok squad. We saw the alignment camps throughout the last couple of weeks. He's narrowed it down, trimmed down the squad. And this is the players he believes will take us through as we go into the Italy series, of course, and then against Georgia as they build up to the Rugby Championship. But it all starts now for these players making their debut, the likes of Asanathi Nhlabakanya, amongst others, Vincent Tutuka, Marnus van der Merwe. It's a real special moment to be in amongst the group of champions, should I say. World Cup winners on 2 occasions in 2019 and 23. They're looking to make it 3 out of 3 and almost underway. And we're going to go through this together, folks. We got a Roland Morini says, go Bokke. Royal TV says, he come to Bokke. And that's what we want to hear. What's your score predictions? If you had to ask me before the game, I'm going to go with the 50 points to 19 to the Springboks, of course. The Barbarians have a host of international players, but no doubt South Africa will be too strong. We look out for the engine room where it all happens, where we see Oxen Chair. How will he link up with Asanathi Nhlabakanya? We've got the likes of Malcolm Marx, just to calm things down, of course, Damien Delende, stalwarts of Springbok rugby. And then the pace out wide. What can we say about that? Kurtley Orange, Cheslin Colby, and Apalele Fassi, the weekend special. We're almost ready to go. It's electrifying, the atmosphere in Cape Town. It's a full house. And we are going to have one hell of a time here on Forever Sports. The players ready. It's all action here on Forever Sports. The Springboks open their international season. The Qatar Airways Cup is on the line. The Springboks have got a couple of those. Focus on the face of Sam Cane. AJ Jacobs, of course, the referee for this clash. He'll be the man in the middle, navigating, keeping players in check when it comes to testosterone and emotions. But we are underway, and it's Josh Jacob who's going to get us underway from left to right. And he goes with the kickoff. It's loose, and Malcolm Marx picks it up and feeds Ngome Zulu. He's charged down. Fassi just getting there in time, and Kian Healy, of all people, almost stunning the crowd, but actually the referee's coming back for a scrum advantage. It was knocked on from the kickoff. In the process of contesting there, looks like it was Ruben van Heerden who knocked it on, but charged down early. He'd want to settle the nerves. Sasha Feinberg and Gomez Zulu charged down by that man, Kian Healy. He might be done with Ireland, but he's ready to put in a shift here this afternoon. And it's going to be a scrum down. We see the first scrum within a minute. This holds the key to what happens throughout the game. If South Africa can really gain confidence and ascendancy and put the Barbarians under all sorts of pressure, then we're in for a treat, because we have some exciting backs that can score tries from just about anyway. Van der Berg puts it in, and there comes Nche. Here comes the strong pressure from South Africa. Yes! Penalty! Surely now. Oxenche. Asanate Klabakanya, you beauty. And the Springboks get the first penalty. Wonderful work by South Africa there. And South Africa have it in possession. They're up to the 10-meter mark. Of Barbarians territory, but unfortunately on that occasion, it's a penalty to the Barbarians. Just apologies for the technical issues. We're just trying to get the scoreboard right here. But the Barbarians have a line out. We are on the left-hand touch line between the 22 and 10-meter mark of South Africa. Scrum down for South Africa again. This time a solid set from the Barbarians. In possession now, South Africa. Van der Berg from the base, kicks it high. South Africa have got it back. It's Lutto Yaga who comes charging ahead. He's over the advantage line. Van der Berg. Delinde head down as he charges ahead, but well brought to ground now. We up and into the 10-meter mark. Inside Barbar's territory, and Gomez Zulu looks for a gap. Has he got Kirtley who steps in? Looking to make the break, but he's brought to ground. South Africa now feed. And Klabakanya, who's brought to ground, takes it up. Still in possession, Oxen Chair, South Africa, making meters with every carry. Fussy, Apelele, Fussy. Lovely ball threaded through on the left foot. And it's going to be a scrum down to South Africa, 5 meters out. It held up just in time. Wonderful work from Apelele Fassi there. Just enough weight on the kick. It's set up nicely and the Barbarians are forced to dot it down. We've got a 5-meter attacking scrum. Here it comes, folks. Time off for the moment. But South Africa playing in the right areas of the field. Who's going to open their account here? South Africa in a prime position to do so. In fact, it was a penalty. I beg your pardon. South Africa have put it into touch. It's Malcolm Marx who's going to feed. Look out for the driving maul. We're on the left-hand touchline, 5 meters out. Ludiaga gets it from Malcolm Marx. Here come the Springboks charging ahead. It's going forward. The Barbarians crumbling. South Africa over for the try. Malcolm Marx, you go, you beauty. Try time. South Africa on the board. 6 minutes gone. The conversion to add the extra 2, but ominous signs for the Barbarians. And it's that man, Malcolm Marx. We've seen him do it time and time again. The maul going forward, inch by inch. And as a result, South Africa get the first try. Sesha Feinberg and Gomezulu looking for his compass to be on target. The strike is going to be wide. He shanked it past the left hand upright. But South Africa on the board. Less than ideal kicking conditions, it must be said. Ntombekosi Ntoshes Kubobok. Crescency Brits says 2012 Springboks win. Keeping it tight there. Shout out as the Barbars restart between the 22 and 10 meter mark of South Africa now. It's Morne van der Berg from the base looking for Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu, seeing some space on this left-hand side, but well covered, but knocked on in the process. South Africa will have a scrum, an unforced error there. It looks like it was Josh Jacob covering in backfield, wanting to collect the kick from Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu, but in the process, knocking it on, and South Africa back inside the territory of the Barbars. You see the rain coming down in droplets, but that won't hinder us. Yeah, we're on a rugby journey, folks. Stoke Kid 1825 says Pocker will win. Yes, that's the spirit. South Africa will scrum all day, every day, and twice on a Sunday. They back themselves here. Morne van der Berg to feed for South Africa. South Africa up and over the advantage line. Van der Berg to Ludiaga, working their way into the 22 now. Playing left to right. Jean-Luc Dupree attacks 2 tacklers to bring him down. It's quick recycled ball. Surely the Barbars offside. Van der Berg to Jesse Creel. He's brought to ground. South Africa have all the possession early on here. What can they make with it? Cheslin Colby in behind. There's a try. Apelele Fassi with the try assist. You can't keep that man out of the game. Remember the name. Cheslin Colby will be a legend. For many a year to come, he's got another try. And South Africa are in double figures. The vision from Fussy to put it in behind. And no chance there for the fullback, Melvin Jamine. If it's an out-and-out race, Cheslin Colby 10 times out of 10. And South Africa have their second try. The conversion. He missed his first attempt. Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu. The strike is good this time around. It's sailing. It's over. The crowd will tell you they love it. But it's Apelele Fassi with the try assist. Put it on the boot in behind the defence. And that man, Cheslin Colby, knows his way to the try line. South Africa up by 12-0. The restart now gathered by South Africa. It's Morne van der Berg. Shapes with a kick. Perhaps it's gone too aerial, too vertical, should I say. Not enough distance on the kick. It's regathered by the Barbars. Precious few possession for them at the moment. Fussy is in backfield and he puts it into touch safely. South Africa find themselves for the first real time now having to defend here against the Barbarians. They've got to get the basics right. Will we see South Africa competing at line-out time? Camille shot to throw in for the Barbarians. It's taken by Ruben van Heerden. Off the top they go. In midfield is Umaga Jensen. He's caught behind the advantage line. South Africa looking to counteract with Malcolm Marx, but the Barbarians have it. Ruben van Heerden again. They keep it alive. Kean Healy again caught behind the advantage line. South Africa defensively on point at the moment. What are we looking for? A kick from the base here from Kabalo to make it contestable for Mark Talea. Fussy's there, safe under the high ball, the weekend special. And South Africa have possession back, but what a strong counter-ruck here from the Barbarians. Legally so, and they have the ball back in possession. Kabalo. Jamine in from fullback. They want to keep it alive now. To this right wing they go. Nickens holding on over the ball. There was Damien Delende amongst others. And South Africa have the penalty 15 meters in from this left-hand touchline, just outside the 22. Just not able to get support in there to secure possession, and South Africa will have the opportunity to put it into the Barbarians' territory now and set up an attacking platform. Malcolm Marx to feed the line out. We're on the 10-meter mark of Barbars' territory on this left-hand touchline. South Africa, you feel, are going to find their rhythm as the game wears on. The Barbars, of course, rich with tradition and brotherhood, getting together from all walks of rugby life. What sort of rhythm do they have? As this game wears on, will we see South Africa turn the screws just a little bit tighter? South Africa won't want to concede. They set high standards defensively. It's Sichuko who takes it at the back. Collapsing them all illegally. Penalty advantage. It's a free play here for the Boks. Ngome Zulu there wanting to chip it in behind the defense. but they're coming back for the free play. Nothing comes of it. And the Boks will have a penalty. We're on the 10-meter mark. They can send this deep into Barbarians territory on this left-hand touchline. They're going to do it in 5s and 7s. We won't see too many kicks at goal in terms of penalty kicks this evening. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Great take from Tutuka at the back. And then illegally sacking them all were the Barbarians. They're under pressure there in the engine room. Malcolm Ox finds Watchalong safe as ever as they look to set up another driving maul. Not going anywhere for the moment. And Morne van der Berg looks to find Damien Delende head down over the advantage line. South Africa 6 meters out. Malcolm Mark, centre field, left to right. Watchalong hit with the double tackle. South Africa keep the ball alive. Van der Berg to Ox and Che. You can't play the 9, son. Jean Klein out the back. Feinberg and Gomez Zulu. Almost making the break, but can't hold on to the ball. Knocking it on an unforced error. It is slippery out there. But he saw the half gap, did Sasha Feinberg and Gomez Zulu. And almost creating something out of nothing. Alan van Lochenberg. Mooi so, boetjie. Dis nou hoe dit gedoen word. In 'n ijskoue Kaapstad. Ons kan doen met 'n ijskoue een. Did it on the spot there, Alan. That's the spirit. Amos Tramecha. Shatta, sorry. Go Bocky. Dylan Schrader. Shout out. South Africa will have to put some pressure here on the scrum defensively. It's 5 meters out. They've turned it. Surely, Mr. Ref. All sorts of pressure on Kian Healy. At scrum time, the loose head prop. Ethan, go Bocky. That is the spirit indeed here in the Qatar Airways Cup. South Africa putting it on thick and fast at scrum time. No answer at the moment for the Barbarians. And more importantly, South Africa playing in the right area of the field. This first quarter has flown by. South Africa lead by 12-0 in case you've just tuned in. Haven't quite hit their straps. They're still stuck in third gear. But just give it some time as the Barbarians look to break away. South Africa look to steal the ball. It's Frizzell who takes it in short. He's brought to ground. Camille Chutt is brought to ground as well. We're outside the 22. The Barbarians look to play. Shannon Frizzell to Ruben van Heerden. He's got no way through the Springbok defense. Kerbalo. Fainganuku puts it on the boot uncharacteristically. Feinberg and Gomez Zulu finds Apelele Fassi. Morne van der Berg finds Grass. Cheslin Colby rushing up on defense, putting all sorts of pressure on Josh Jacob. And the ball goes into touch. The Barbarians stuck inside their own 22 on this right-hand touchline. Nowhere to go, son. Pinning them back inside their own half, inside their own danger zone. Shout out to Antile Talom, my brother from another mother. It's all out Springboks at the moment in this first quarter, but it's the Barbarians in possession now. Kabalo to Josh Jacob, who puts it on the boot. Won't look to find touch, saying to South Africa, come running back, Chislin Colby. To Apelele Fussy. He puts it high. He's taken down in the process, but the referee is satisfied with that. Kabalo collects the ball and finds one of his tight forwards. They're right up against this right-hand touchline now. Brazil at the back. South Africa have it. Kurtley Orense looking to steal it, but a comedy of errors there, somewhat, you could say. Really not favourable conditions for either side. We know the Barbarians love to run it. You almost feel Apelele Fussy was taken out. Big hit by Marco van Staden on Melvin Jamine. But it's going to restart with the South African scrum. The Barbarians not really able to get into their attacking shape. We haven't seen much of the wingers, Rata Matavuki, Nipkins and Talia for the Barbarians. Lethal with ball in hand, but starved of possession. South Africa doing the work up front. Shout out Strauss Kutsia. Where you tuned in from? Lawrence Johnson. Hoi Millies! Hey, hey! When last have I heard that one? The referee called for a reset, yeah. Strong showing from Masanati and Klabakanya up to this point. The debutant at tight head for South Africa. We're into the second quarter. That one, the first quarter, has flown by. But still a lot of rugby to come here on Forever Sports, kicking off the international season here with this Barbarians game. Oh, South Africa is in your head, Rahasi, Rahasi, Rahasi. Penalty, South Africa. Take a sip of your beverage, son, whether it's coffee, brandy, gin, vodka, lemon, water. Would you please take a sip? South Africa have the penalty. That front row of the Barbarians are not enjoying this one single bit at the moment. Welcome to the South African forward pack. This is where champions are made. They forge themselves in fire, claiming gold against New Zealand, of course, in the final, albeit small margins. Back-to-back gold, looking for a three-peat. How are you doing? Malcolm Ox. Corner. It's a 5-meter line taken by Vincent Tutuka. And the Springboks driving maul goes ahead. Disrupted momentarily. Van der Berg looking to break. Just short. Who wants it now? Delende. Head down. Pick and go. Almost there. Just short. South Africa have scored the try. Damien Delende. No, in fact, it's Cheston Colby. Can it be in the thick of things? Who is it? I'm confused. It's in fact Vincent Chituka. On debut, I got it completely wrong. And the number 7 for South Africa goes over for his first try. International rugby, welcome, son. There's your 5-pointer. You deserve it. Secured line-out time. And as a result, subsequently, just a couple of phases later, goes over for the score. South Africa, with the conversion, flying over, are ahead by 19 points to 0. And the Barbarians, up to this point, no answer. South Africa, 3 scores clear. They're going to do it in 5s and 7s, but the pick and go from Vincent Situka. Too strong, too determined. Over! Another restart short, collected by Cheslin Colby for South Africa. It's Morne van der Berg. We're 5 meters in from this right-hand touchline, just outside the 22 as he finds Oxenche. South Africa will look for a contestable via the boot of Van der Berg. Cheslin Colby coming through, putting pressure on and collecting the ball. That's what champions do. South Africa now can attack. Gomezulu to Delende. Can Creel straighten? No. But it's Kirtley Orense who's away. Trying to put it on the boot. Kirtley Orense, the idea was right. But just in the process, knocked it on. But things can turn just like that when you have a back three like South Africa do. And Kirtley Orense was almost away there. Hands on hips for the Barbarians. Like a deer stuck in headlights. What's going on here, son? What is unfolding before our eyes? Well, I'll tell you. We are the champions, my friend. That's what's happening. You're not just going to get the ball over the line. You're going to have to fight tooth and nail. And still then, you might just come up short against Rassie and his entourage. Hein Ferreira, shout out from wherever you tuned in, brother. Alan van Lochenberg, brother from another mother. And Goy Millies. Hey, hey. You got it, you got it. If you don't, forget about it. The Barbarians restart with the scrum. Kobolo. Umaga Jensen tried to take it up. South Africa not rolling away at ruck time there. Much needed reprieve for the Barbarians, stuck inside their own half. They really need to put a couple of phases together. Trailed by 0 points to 19. And it is going to be Josh Jacob to do just that on this right-hand touchline. Finds touch just inside South Africa's half, between the halfway mark and the 10-meter mark on this right-hand touchline. Chris Bosman says, worst Barbarians team I've ever seen. They haven't done much yet. Let's give them some time. But I hear you, Chris, loud and clear. South Africa contest the line out. They get it back. And putting it upfield is Ngome Zulu from Cheslin Colby. Great kick. Right up against this left-hand touchline. Melvin Jamine has to kick it. And South Africa are coming right back via Apelele Fassi, who puts it on the boot. Fassi's got it. It's gone backwards. It's Kirtley Orense in possession now. Look for the razzle-dazzling feet. He's away, Kirtley Orense. Again, unfortunately can't free up the hands. But he has an opportunity now for the Barbarians. Scrum advantage over. It's Jamine inside to Talia. We know how dangerous he can be. But Ngome Zulu stands in the way as Talia tried to thread it through with the boot. It's gone into touch on this left-hand touchline. But there again, Kirtley Orense almost breaking the gap. Marius, go Booker from USA. Shouting for the Booker. Shout out, Marius. Hitge. Morne van der Berg from the line out. South Africa secured line out time. On that occasion, again, Kirtley Orense going up for the contestable. But just knocking it on. You can forgive him in these conditions. The intent, the will is there from Kurtley Lawrence, just on that occasion not able to hold on to the ball. We're going to restart with the scrum to the Barbarians. In case you missed it, South Africa ahead by 19-0. We're just about approaching the half-hour mark. It's all-out action, although conditions try to dampen our spirits. They have not been successful. The Boks have scored 3 tries, 2 of them converted. As Kubalo looks to feed, South Africa putting pressure on at scrum time, but they get it away. Zumaga Jensen for the Barbarians. Kubalo again. Ruben van Heerden can't find a way through, but he offloads to Camille Chut. Looks to wriggle himself clear. Runs into some defensive traffic. South Africa looking to get in over the ball, but not committing that ruck time with too many numbers, the Springboks. Kubalo now to Shannon Frizzell. Nowhere to go. They've gone back quite a few meters now. And again, disrupted by the defensive pressure of South Africa. Trying to feed Tilly out wide on this right-hand side on halfway. But there's no way through for the moment. Trying to force that pass. Cheslin Colby was there, putting that defensive pressure on the Barbars. South Africa will have the line out. We're just inside Barbars territory on this right-hand touchline. Malcolm Hawks to feed for South Africa. Finds Tichuka. As South Africa go for a driving maul again. This time it's making real headway. Looking to gain some traction here. But it's stolen away. It looks like Peter Omani for the Barbars. I'm not sure how that happened. South Africa looking to get in over the ball, but Van der Berg over eager to play the 9 and penalised by the referee. And put into touch by Josh Jacob. The Barbars with their first real attacking platform inside South Africa's territory now. Inside their 22. They haven't been here that often. Shout out Rudy Joubert. Etienne Nell 4494. Shout out. Thank you for tuning in. Here comes Sasha Feinberg and Ngome Zulu. Another last line out for the Barbars. A little over 7 minutes to go in this clash. Van der Berg to Oxenchair, head down. Don't we just know it? Salads don't win scrums. Let Oxenchair tell you all about it. The powerhouse, Lucette prop of South Africa. High and contestable. South Africa have got it back via Cheslin Colby. Putting in a shift here. We're between the 10-meter mark and 22 of South Africa, and the Barbars pinned by Ben O'Keefe for not rolling away. Devin Langeveldt, they're at Cape Town Stadium. It's not quite raining buckets, but it is drizzling there. You can see the conditions. Perhaps not ideal for running rugby, but the Springboks have showed intent defensively as well, keeping the Barbars from any sort of attacking shape at the moment. Great work by Cheslin Colby in the air for South Africa. The line-out is one, secured. Cheslin Colby finds Delende, who finds Jean-Luc Dupré, and Delende looks to break away. The ball is loose. And it's in the hands of the Barbarians. A slippery luck. They're juggling soap. But the Barbarians, Jamine to shut. To Peter Omani in the trams here. We're almost up to halfway, Barbarians. In possession now. Jacob. Umaga Jensen. Just stuck behind the advantage line. South Africa's line speed. Pristine at the moment. South Africa have it back via Sasha Feinberg and Gomez Zulu. But unfortunately on that occasion, putting it out on the full there, immediately putting his hand up to apologize. Just outside the field of play. Did well to control it with a foot there, Ngome Zulu, but conceding possession here, an unforced error. The Barbarians struggling at line out time. Ruben van Heerden, put your hand up. Shot for the Barbarians to feed now. Another lost line out. Great contest from the Springboks. Malcolm Marks. It might not seem like much, but all these little sequence of events adds up to the pressure and momentum shift. South Africa have clearly been in control up to this point, not allowing the Barbarians to break free. Jamine, Jesse Creel coming in with the tackle and then the counter ruck. They just don't have time on the ball. South Africa looking for a strong counter ruck here. Mr. Ref, are they really off their feet? Yes, he says they are. Neepkins almost looked like he wanted to tap and go there. But South Africa concede another penalty. Leighton Nkuta, Yaman Booker. Positive vibes only here. Let's bring the Chias. The Boks are back in town. Jesse Creel on Melvin Jamine there. Almost looked like a UFC takedown. It can do it all, can Jesse Creel captaining the side today. Abel Rodriguez, go Springboks from Portugal. Shout out to Abel Rodriguez. What a pleasure to have you on board this Rugby Express on Forever Sports. Pelican Antigua. Forgive me if I've pronounced it wrong. Go Booker from Antigua, East Caribbean. Would you believe it? Yeah, man. The Barbarians looking for a little chip over the top, but finding Kurt Lee Orenser, ever present in backfield. And Morne van der Berg, inside his 22, finds Malcolm Marks. He'll have the safety of the touchline. They're about 20 meters in from this right-hand touchline. Morne van der Berg for the Springboks. He finds touch, but the Barbarians want to play quickly. Josh Jacob from Mark Talia runs into a wall of defense. Asenati and Klabakanya amongst others. Frizzell looks to take it up, finds himself over the advantage line, but South Africa have it back. Can they do something with it now? We centre field. No, the Barbarians. They've come over the top. Ruben van Heerden, back of the hand. Yes, some space now. The Barbarians looking to break away down this left-hand touchline. Neepkins looking to put it on the boots, but Morne van der Berg is there. Van der Berg, if you're Afrikaans. Tomato. The important part is he's there to cover for the Springboks. Just could see a shout out. We have seen precious little of Ratu Maitavuki Neepkins. But give him some ball and he can hurt you. South Africa not allowing that at the moment. A little over a minute and a half, and Jean-Luc Dupree is down. We've already lost Ulrich Lowe. Cameron Honeycomb, not you too, please, sir. Soldier on, surely now. Senzo, Makudu, Winterton, shout out Senzo. Quagga Smith looks like he's warming up. We know what he can do off the bench. He's coming onto the field. Hein Ferreira, what a pleasure to have your commentary. What a pleasure to have you tuned in, brother. And Jean-Luc Dupree, unfortunately, will take no further part in the game. Quagga Smith coming onto the field. Alan van Lochenberg says, it used to be, we will rock you. But now it's Bokke, rock you, Barbarians. Thank you, ladies. Smith, KZN. Signed, sealed, delivered. Spoken by the man himself. Camille Chut to throw in for the Barbarians after South Africa cleared the lines. This time, pressure on the Barbarians. Line out again. Morne van der Berg looking to pick up the loose ball. Knocked on by the Barbarians, says Ben O'Keefe. One real push for South Africa before half time. Here we see a little bit of jerseys. Lou de Jager, normally calm in his demeanour. Of course, South Africa without Etzebeth for the moment. We need a bit of an enforcer there. Lou de Jager almost looked like he was going to strip sy moer. Kept himself in check for the moment. Clean-up work was accurate from Morne van der Berg. South Africa will have the put in to the scrum. You kind of feel they want to put this out, perhaps consolidate at half time, and then perhaps pick up in the second half with some replacements. Remember, this is the first game of the season as we see the rain come bucketing down. Cape Town, you haven't been kind to us. Morne van der Berg kicks it into touch, but it's a penalty to the Barbars. What exactly happened there? A scrum penalty to the Barbarians. Can it be? It seems that way. Jacob puts it into touch. There's going to be some time here for the Barbarians to attack and perhaps get themselves on the scoreboard. For the moment, it's 19-0. Shut to feed. Finds Omani in the front. Shannon Frizzell hits it up over the advantage line. Kobalo. Neepkins looking to break clear, but he's wrapped up. Quagga Smith looking to get over the ball. Frizzell again. And South Africa via Sinati and Klabakanya clean it up, but that's going to be that. The players looking to get to know each other via the old jersey tug, but that's going to be half time, folks. Do stay tuned for the second half. South Africa in the lead by 19 points to 0. In rainy conditions at the Cape Town Stadium, the Barbarians haven't really got going yet. South Africa, you feel, still stuck perhaps in second, third gear. But what a pleasure it is. Half time, South Africa 19, Barbarians 0. And I'll see you in just a little bit. Get those refreshments topped up, eh? Surely now. Surely now. Hello and welcome back here on Forever Sports. In case you missed it, the Springboks are ahead by 19 points to 0 in the Qatar Airways Cup Challenge in Cape Town. The Barbarians, in honor and brotherhood, the tradition continues here in South Africa for the first time, but it's the Springboks via tries from Malcolm Marx, Cheslin Colby and Vincent Situka. Two of them converted by Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu. The Barbarians, up to this point, not able to really find their rhythm as the rain is pouring down in Cape Town. Perhaps not conducive to a great brand of running rugby, but sometimes you have to grit it out, and it's Ngomezulu who's going to get us underway shortly for the second half. Shout out Pedro, 87. Boka from Auckland. 4 a.m. in the morning as Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu gets us underway. Jacob straight to Frizzell, who runs into Asanati. And Kabakanye puts him to ground. And Kabolo to Jamine, who's going to try and find touch and does so successfully for the Barbarians. We're up to the 10-meter mark on this left-hand touchline. I hope you got your refreshments. Top. And you've got your gees. Top, because we're still in for a bumper second half here. Shout out Smith Realty from Cape Town. As South Africa feed the line out, it's loose ball, but it's picked up by Marco van Staden. South Africa need to get someone in there to clear. Morne van der Berg goes in, and now Cheslin Colby plays halfback. We know he can do it all. Finds Malcolm Marx. Colby goes in to secure possession. Van der Berg to Ngomezulu, who puts it high on the boot. It's contestable who wants it. It's in the hands of Nipkins. Tackled by Jesse Krill. But Fassi is back to cover. Finds Ngomezulu. He doesn't find touch. South Africa opting to give the possession back to the Barbarians. Kabalo on the 10-meter mark now, 15 meters in from this right-hand touchline. Strong defense from South Africa. Tutuka looking to get in over the ball, but the Barbarians have possession. Can they string a couple of phases together? Jacob wrapped up by Malcolm Marx. Not released, or not held, should I say. He's away, Josh Jacob. The loose pass to Morne van der Berg. Curtly Orange is chasing it now. The race is on. Dave Ribbons is back for the Barbarians. They 15 meters in from this right-hand touchline, holding on. Curtly Orange. Great work over the ball. South Africa have the penalty. Dave Ribbons caught in possession on the ground. It was hacked ahead by Morne van der Berg. And we'll see South Africa put it in to the corner. We're about 10 meters out from this right-hand touchline. Rodney Maleka, shout out. We are the champions from Limpopo. Romano Fleurs, go Booker from Bekelsdorp, George. Shout out from Paul Malotsi. As Ludiaga takes it in the middle. South Africa go with the driving maul. It's going forward. Malcolm Marx has it at the back in control. Penalty advantage to South Africa. Can they make something of this free play? No, the referee calls them back for a penalty. Certainly we'll look for a deja vu moment here. Van der Berg thought he was over for the try, but the referee's whistle has gone. Mbali Klengwa says, go, guys. Springbok. Christian Cato, location Cape Town. That's exactly where they're playing. Actually, in fact, Jean-Luc Dupré back on the field. He doesn't want to miss out on the opportunity. So Kwagga Smith back to the bench. We'll see his introduction as the game wears on. South Africa now 5 meters out. Ludiaga takes it securely. It's Malcolm Marx at the back. Morne van der Berg going in to wrestle the ball clear. And unfortunately, South Africa not able to produce the ball. It's going to be a scrum to the Barbarians. They did enough to disrupt it. In the maul there, Ruben van Heerden amongst others. He'll be happy with that. The Barbarians have to scrum against the box, 5 meters from their own try line. As we see the replacements coming onto the field for South Africa, thick and fast. Van Hendrik Wessels, Manus van der Merwe. Nietling Forshey. All changes in the front row for the Springboks. Kobus Reinach on the field. Interesting here, Andre Esterhuizen packing down. At scrum time, Kobus Reinach on the field. The Barbarians get the ball in and out at scrum time. They're still 10 meters from their own try line, looking for a better angle. Jakubalo. The call comes from the referee. Use it. Looking to get out of their own danger zone, but kicking it straight to Kurtley Orense. Now Fussy to Colby. Can he break clear? Cheslin Colby to Esterhuizen to Delende. Jesse Creel cuts back in field. Lutejaga takes it up on the 22, South Africa. Kobus Reinach. Lebok on the field as well. Apelele Fassi. Kurtley Oren says away. Kobus Reinach looking to break clear. They're only 2 meters out now, South Africa. Looking to pick up in the second half with the try here. Jan Hendrik Wessels! Over! That's what we do! Not on the field for 2 minutes, but he's got a 5-pointer. The crowd will tell you they love it. The Springboks up to 24 points to 0. And that man, Jan Hendrik Wessels, on the end of the try. But Apelele Fassi back to Kurtley Orense on the inside. Found Kobus Reinach in support. Came up just short, and then Jan Hendrik Wessels, all that power, poise, precision, try! South Africa score their 4th try, and it's Lebok with the opportunity to add the extra 2 for the Boks. Makes no mistake, adds the extra 2, does Manie Lebok. South Africa 26 points to 0 to the good. Christian Cateau says, go Bokke, go from Mauritius. That's what we want here on Forever Sports. All the fans, rugby binding us together. Auckland, Barbados, Mauritius. Wherever you are in South Africa, what a pleasure. The Barbarians under all sorts of pressure. The restart now. Outside the 22, taken by Kwagga Smith. He's on the field again. I don't see Vincent Situka. Oh, I do. In fact, now I see him. Trying to figure out why Andre Esterhuizen was packing down in the scrum. Does that mean Marco van Staden is not able to continue? South Africa looking to keep the ball in field after the box kick from Reinach, but it's gone into touch just inside South Africa's half. On this left-hand touchline, Sam Cane doesn't look like a happy man. I didn't see much in that first half. Under pressure. Under pressure. That's what the Springboks will do to you. Reinach to Jesse Creel. He's away. Can he find support? He does find support. Reinach running a wonderful support line here for the Springboks. Liebok in over the ball. South Africa looking to recycle quickly here. Kwagga Smith to Manus van der Merwe. Knock on advantage, South Africa. Play on. In fact, it wasn't Manus who took it up, it was Neethling for Shea. Manus in over the ball. And they find Jan Hendrik Wessels. We're only 7 meters out, South Africa. Finding their stride now. Delende can't hold on to it. Offside. Oh, the Barbarians. South Africa have the penalty. Kwood Publishing, shout out from Vancouver, Canada. Surely now. Kobus Reinach injecting some pace in the game in support. South Africa doing well to recycle the ball quickly, putting the defensive pressure on the Barbarians. They're in 6s and 7s. And it is Esterhuizen who looks like he's packing down and in the flank position. South Africa, of course, going with the 5-3 split. Hasn't quite worked out for them. We hope Marco van Staden's okay. Reset at scrum time here. John Machotsi says, I'm already predicting the score 44-0. Go Bokke! Republic of South Korea. The Springboks will do that to you. I see Sean Johnston asking why is he screaming. It's the Gees, brother, the Gees. The Springboks are playing. Kobus Reinach to feed for the box. We're 12 meters in from this right-hand touchline. We're only 7 meters out from the Barbarians. Charline, can South Africa add try number 5? Strong scrum from the box. Delende takes it from Reinach over the advantage line. They're 3 meters out now. Good carry. Franco Mostert just held up short. South Africa now. Surely. Are they going to keep it in tight? No try, says the referee. Leon Cohen, groete uit Noordelike Alberta. Shout out, Leon. We're coming back for the penalty advantage. South Africa under free play at scrum time. Franco Mostert there, just coming up short. Strong scrum from the Springboks. It's a vibe in Cape Town. The weather wants to dampen our spirits, but we say, no, sir, it's not happening today. Dave Ribbons did well to stop Franco Mostert from getting over for the try, but South Africa still have a penalty advantage and have chosen to take the scrum. Hoskins Tutu on the field for Shannon Frizzell. New Zealander for New Zealander. He's had a couple of good runs, but a tough afternoon for the team as a whole. Not really able to string too many phases together. Reinach Strong scrum this time around from the Barbarians. Reinach to Kurtley Arendse. Gets over the advantage line. South Africa have lost the ball here. Great work from the Barbarians. South Africa not able to keep possession. It's cleared into touch. We're still between the 22 and the try line of the Barbarians on this right-hand touchline. Josh Jacob there, not happy with the AR, saying, surely I got some more meters, and we're going to have a look at the TMO here. The drama unfolds as we hit the 54th minute mark here in this clash. What are we looking at, sir? Head on Kurtley Arendse. That's going to be a penalty and perhaps a yellow card. The Barbarians can ill afford to lose a man to the bin. Really chasing the game now, but who's that? It's 23 for the Barbarians. Lachlan Bashir. We're going to see a yellow card, folks. More cheer from the crowd. Sorry, son, you're going to have to sit for 10 minutes. Get yourself an umbrella. Powerade, Inner Jade, Revitalize, Refuel. You're going to have to sit out. You're putting your team under all sorts of pressure. And Bashir is going to the bin. Strauss Kutsia says, go boys! Mani Lebok looks to put it into touch on this right-hand touchline, 5 meters out from the Barbarians' try line. 4 tries to 0. Can the Boks keep a clean sheet? Ludiaga takes it in front. It's Manus van der Merwe who has it secured at the back. South Africa go inching forward. Van der Merwe held up by David Ribbons. Penalty to South Africa. It's unraveling here for the Barbarians. The Bok with the deja vu puts it into touch. South Africa. Looking to get another try in this third quarter. Lineouts have been solid. Ludiaga solid in that lineout for South Africa. This time around they go to Franco Mostert. They've lost it. Commentators curse the Barbarians. Breathe a momentary sigh of relief. South Africa in over the ball. Have they turned it over? Yes, legally so. But just knocked on there. Looks like by Kwagga Smith. And the Barbarians will have a reprieve for the moment. At scrum time. Eben Etzebeth, amongst others, sitting on the bench, not involved in the match day 23 today. Faf de Klerk as well. We'll see them, of course, as the season gets into full gear. But it looks like there's some attention to Peter Omani, who's down and out for the count at the moment. Time off on the clock. He's up 114 caps for his country. Ireland, Peter Omani. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Tough as nails. We're going to restart with a scrum down here to the Barbarians. Into feed. Santiago Arata for the Barbarians. 10 meters in from this right-hand touchline on the 5-meter mark. The referee calls for a reset. South Africa have put all sorts of pressure on this scrum. Collinger on the field as well in the front row for the Barbarians, Ricky Riccatelli. Replacements aplenty as we approach the final quarter. Said Ben O'Keefe earlier, it's in fact AJ Jacobs. The referee. My apologies, as the Barbarians now look to break away via Melvin Jamine. Now they want to go. He's covering backfield. It's Kurtley Orenser who's there. South Africa looking to get in over the ball and secure it. They do. Kwagga Smith amongst others. Kobus Reinach looking to play Lute Jager, who takes it up, but he's brought to ground. Reinach to Mani Lebok. Apelele Fassi puts it on the boot, saying to the Barbarians, come back at us, bro, what you got? Melvin Jamine, straight down the throat of Mani Lebok. Finds Cheslin Colby. Kwagga Smith looks to break away from 2 tackles, but he's brought to ground. Now South Africa recycle. Lebok, Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Damian Delinde puts it on the boot. The chase is on now. Kurtley Orenser on the receiving end. He's going to go over for the try. Momentum, whatever it takes. He'll get there. He's over. Simply sensational from the box. Raymond Claassen says South Africa is the best. Just play the game. And the referee also adjusts to it. But what a try from Kurtley Orenser, made possible from the boot of Damian Delinde. And this exciting back three of South Africa, Kurtley Orenser, Cheslin Colby, Apelele Fassi. We're talking about the future. It's a try. No doubt about it. South Africa up to 31 points to 0. That's their 5th try. It's over. 2 out of 2 for Mani Lebok. In this treacherous conditions, we can say wonderful work from Mani Lebok off the kicking tee. Talk about kicking. Damian Delinde knew he had that man KLA outside him. The ball set up nicely, and then momentum just shoved him over the line. And South Africa up to 33 points to 0. Roland De Florio, I beg your pardon on my pronunciation, says love your live feed, but well done. Thank you, Roland, for tuning in. It's box season. Let's bring the gears here, folks. Do you feel the Barbarians are going to get a score at all? Are they going to open their account at some point in this game? So far, South Africa away again. The contestable kick is taken by Colby. Inside to Reinach. Wonderful hit by Dave Ribbons on defense to get back the lock forward. South African on South African, but it's still alive. It's Kwagga Smith advantage, South Africa. Try for Lute Jager. That's what we do. Just like that. The contestable kick taken out of the air by Cheslin Colby. Reinach in support. And then the ball was recycled quickly. South Africa playing under penalty advantage. But look at the razzle-dazzle dancing feet of Cheslin Colby, putting the Barbarians' defence in 6s and 7s. They don't know if they're coming or going. But Luttiaga is going over for the try. And that's try number 6 for the Springboks. Lubbock to make it 3 out of 3. Relatively simple conversion attempt. It's flying. It splits the uprights. It's over. It's 40-0. Booker van Wyk says, go Booker. Situation, Jason says, unstoppable. Kubastanda. Booker Boer from Vegas. Butle Longwane says, what a time to be a South African. I agree with you 1000%. Another replacement on the field for the Barbarians. Armani's going to come off. He's put in a shift. That's his race run. As far as this clash is concerned in the Qatar Airways Cup, South Africa ahead by 40-0. Dominant performance. South Africa now slowly starting to get into gear, and the conditions most certainly not in their favour, but the restart has been gathered by South Africa. It's Reinach with ball in hand from the base. Referee says use it. He puts it high again. Colby's chasing with all his worth. He's got it again, you know. Cheslin Colby, you beauty. On the 10-metre mark, Barbarians territory. South Africa want to play. Intercepted, and Neepkins picks up the loose ball. It's now Hoskins to Tutu now. They transition from defence to attack here. Can South Africa hold their lines? Looking to get in over the ball is Delende. Satutu from Arata. Jacob looks to take it to the line, but he's cut short of the advantage line. Ruben van Heerden and Hendrik Wessels looking to get in over the ball. The defence from South Africa, this relentless. South Africa now not overcommitting at ruck time. Found out on defence, still in possession. Josh Beer takes it up for the Barbarians. Arata now. Fainganuku to Mark Telia. Can't get away from Colby. The referee says play on. It looked like it was knocked forward, but it came off the shin. Good couple of phases here for the Barbarians. South Africa are penalised by the referee on this occasion. Get picked. 10 metres, son. Roland Durban-Boyke with the Mauritian surname. Well read and pronounced. Our boys have this, bro. You better believe it. Andries boys, 1989. Up you Booker, you go, World Cup champions. There's an injection of gears from Andries. The Barbarians put it into touch. They're about 8 metres out from the Springbok try now, and this real opportunity here presents itself to the Barbarians. Nothing to show for it on the scoreboard, and really haven't put together too many attacking phases. But this, their most promising position on the field. And they go for a driving maul. The line out is secure. South Africa stopping them dead in their tracks. They can't go anywhere. Rata looking to get the ball out. The Barbarians looking to keep it alive. Have they knocked it on? No, says the referee. The defence of South Africa. Monumentous effort to keep their lines clean at the moment. South Africa don't want to concede a try. That's the sort of standards we're dealing with. Tutuka on ribbons, brings him to ground. Jesse Creel in over the ball, but illegally so. Here comes Melvin Jamine. Is he over for the try? The Barbarians are in. Try awarded by referee AJ Jacobs. We thought the Springboks had him, but he slipped out. Did Melvin Jamine, playing under penalty advantage. John Alcock, shout out to just became a sponsor. What a pleasure to have you on board. And Melvin Jamine there had a lot of work to do, but he done it with distinction, and he gets the Barbarians on the board. The Springboks do concede a try. Ayanda Mokel says, go Booker. Warren from Israel. That's what it is about. Will be good to hear what the Irish have to say. Shout out Warren from Israel. And the conversion is successful from Jamine. Converts his own try. Kurt Lawrence, unfortunately just slipping off the tackle. How will South Africa respond now? Six tries to one. Little over 14 minutes or 13 minutes to play, should I say. Tim Dunn says, loving it here in London. The world champions. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. No. Arata puts it high, and it's taken by Marchant on the field for Mark Talea. Joseph Msika says, big, mean, green machine, Hulk, smash! South Africa turn it over, and it's Jesse Creel who takes it up. Can they transition now seamlessly from defence to attack? It's a loose pass in the hand of Esterhuizen. Mani Lebok takes it off Esterhuizen, sets up another ruck. Reinach to Jan Hendrik Wessels. They're still stuck inside their own half for South Africa, but it's knocked on in the process. We're going to come back for a scrum. Gladness Kumere, shout out, brother. Thank you for tuning in. And it's a penalty, in fact, to the Barbarians, not put into touch. And now away with it comes Cheslin Colby with a step, with another step. He's away. Lovely dancing feet. Catch me if you can, son. But that's what he'll do to you. He'll step you in a phone booth. Well, that man, Cheslin Colby. 40 test caps for the Springboks. You feel they should have more. He's been lighting the world on fire on the rugby field for so many years. But Rassie knows what he's got. It's going to be a penalty to South Africa. Potentially where the ball lands. It looks like it was a late tackle on Cheslin Colby off camera. The AR and the referee. Wonderful work from Mani Lebok. And then feeding Cheslin Colby. He had so much work to do, stuck inside his own 22. And then just stepped him like they weren't even there, boy. Go, Boca. That's what we have. in our minds. World champions. Lean, mean, green machine. You heard it in the comments. Hulk smash. I like that one. It's got a ring to it, son. Situka takes it from Funamava. Cheslin Colby. Diminutive in size, but look at him go. Reinach. They come wave after wave, the Springboks. Jan-Hendrik Wessels. They're only 2 meters out now. Reinach to Kwagga Smith. Just short. Here's a try. Yes, it is. Vincent Situka gets a brace. Carving his name into Springbok legacy on debut, gets a double, and the Springboks are ahead and well in control by 38 points, potentially 40. Wave after wave, the defense, they don't want none of that heat, son. Get out of here. Get out of here now. The Springboks are in town. They're in Cape Town. Rain, sunshine, it don't matter. We do what world champions do. And that's put the opposition under all sorts of pressure. Come what may. The Springboks firmly in the driving seat, ahead by 40 points. The conversion is good. Kwagga Smith just held up short. And Vincent Chituka picks up the pieces. Pick and go. Over. Try time. Restart, this time short. Straight to Franco Mostert. In to secure the ball is Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Nietlung for Shea feeds. Damian Delende, who takes it up. South Africa caught slightly behind the advantage line. 9 minutes to play in this clash. South Africa would want another try for sure. (47-7), and South Africa have turned it over, have they? No, they haven't. The Barbarians have it now. Cheslin Colby's away. The referee says it's backwards. Colby, he has an opportunity. Lebok just running out of space on this left-hand touchline, but it's opening up now. Colby stretching his legs. He's got some jet fuel still in the tank. Rassie barking some orders. And the Springboks, they're flying now in the rain here in Cape Town. Alec, Jason, Jonas, sir, sorry. Come on, boys, go, Bokker. Let's give Cheslin one more. Surely now. South Africa 7 tries, 6 out of 7 conversions. Great kick from Morata to clear the lines from that line out, relieving the pressure for the moment. But the Barbarians under the pump here against the world champions. Ivan Koopman says we talk about the world's best. Die Bokker, Bokker, Bokker. Chituka to Reinach. Cheslin Colby. Lebok to Kwagga Smith. Not held in contact. Picks and goes again. Almost up and beyond halfway is Jean Klein now carrying the lock forward. Switching play here. Lebok to Jesse Creel looking to clear the lines. Or break through. It's a high tackle. The Barbarians pinned by the referee there. It's Fine Ganuku. on his opposite number. Above the shoulders, you're going to be pinned by the referee, and South Africa want to get going. It's relentless stuff from the world champions at the moment. Not dangerous as per se, but according to the rules, above the shoulders. Sorry, son, you're going to get penalised. South Africa 10 metres out from this right-hand touchline. Looking for try number 8, Manus van der Merwe to feed. Look out for a driving maul. Mostert. Andre Esterhuizen in there. The rain bucketing down now. But an unforced error from the Springboks on that occasion, just lacking the accuracy. As they say in Afrikaans, it's sousing down now. In the rain, South Africa have still managed to score 7 tries to 1 on the scoreboard, 47-7. Little over 5 minutes to play. You can see the fans basically also looking for cover here. Treacherous conditions. Kobus Hanneman says, Box for life. Go Bokke, celebrating 30 years since 1995 World Cup. Lest we forget, that's where the journey all began. And this time around, scrum penalty to the Barbarians. What do we have here, son? South Africa under pressure at scrum time. What's going on? Not what we like to see, but a whole host of combinations that haven't played together for the Springboks. But you've got to give credit to the Barbarians. There are a couple of combinations as well that haven't played together. So let's give them their flowers when they do. They put it into the line out to Maga Jensen. Looking for Josh Jacob. Caught behind the advantage line now by Mani Lebok. They're back on their own 22 centre field here. Penalty advantage. Arata looking to play Jamine. Looking to find Ribbons out in the trams. Got the power, but not the pace. We're coming back for the penalty advantage to the Barbarians here. High tackle from South Africa. 3.5 minutes to play. Is there any sort of consolation for the Barbarians to get into double figures? There's Jan-Hendrik Wessels there, pinned by the referee. Thank you, Gladness Kumede. Love your work. Love the fact that you guys are tuned in. The Barbarians on halfway. Set up a line out. Look to attack. South Africa have only lost 1 line out the whole evening. The Barbarians 6 out of 11. That's a testament to South Africa's contesting, and a penalty to South Africa. Holding on the ground, and who else but Kwagga Smith looks to tap and go. Vincent Tutuka to Kobus Reinach. He's been full of running since he's come off the bench. Cheslin Colby in at scrum off. Dave Ribbons there, penalised by the referee. It's a penalty advantage. Coming in at the side. You can't do that, son. We know you're frustrated. But we're talking about the world champions here. Get yourself together. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because it's a penalty to the box. And an opportunity to put it in the corner and hit 50. With one more try, please, Mr. Conductor. guide us towards the try line. We're seeing just some attention here to referee AJ Jacobs. The Mexican wave is flying high in the stands. Kicking off this international season in the Qatar Airways Cup, the Springboks will take the trophy. Who can forget their victory over the All Blacks at Twickenham by 35 points to 7 prior to the World Cup? I'm sorry if you're a New Zealander, but the Springboks putting up their hands on that occasion, telling the world we're coming for that World Cup. We'll take it. They took it, and now they're looking for 3 out of 3, sir. Yes, please, I'll have some of that. Manie Lebok off the left foot, ambidextrous. Cheeky. I see you. We are 5 meters out on this left-hand touchline. South Africa to feed. Sibusiso Matlela says the world's #1 team is proving themselves. Truer words today haven't been spoken. Shout out, Sibusiso. Graham Hemming says, go, 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 and the Springboks are a go here. Going back, caught behind the advantage line though. Looking to make headway, still in possession. A minute to play. Jan-Hendrik Wessels looking to keep it alive and recycled as Reinach goes digging in. In over the ball is Boschia there, and the Springboks potentially won't get try number 8. The Barbarians legally over the ball, says AJ Jacobs. Valentino Reddy says 30 years since we won our first at home and being deprived of a home World Cup since winning the last 3 away. Our Bokke unbeatable in finals, 100%, 4 out of 4. Shout out Valentino. Now, when will we see a World Cup on South African turf? They're too afraid of us, you know. Kept alive here, Kwagga Smith. On the boot, but it finds the touchline before any other Springbok player. Kwagga Smith showing us his array of skills, putting on a boot with a grubber. Mosase Moko, thank you for the wonderful commentary. Thank you for tuning in. Ellen van Lochenberg says, come on, another try. Last try, Bokke. But the Barbarians have it in possession. The clock is in the red. If it goes dead now, it's all over. And will you look at that? My mum is tuned in. Rochelle Pio, hello. What a pleasure to have you here on Forever Sports. You know I love you with all my heart. Arata in possession for the Barbarians. Going nowhere slowly at the moment outside the 22 of their own territory here. Fainganuku dealt with by Kwagga Smith amongst others. Driven back, South Africa have it in possession, and it's Cheslin Colby. Is there one final push here for the Boks? Transition from defence to attack here, Kurtley Orense. Hold on to the ball. Keep it alive. South Africa still in possession. Chituka goes into play scrum off. Jan-Hendrik Wessels. There is still one final push here for the Boks. We're 2 minutes over normal time, but they want try number 8. Esther Hazen can't find a way through. Nyetling Forshey, South Africa. Relentless on attack. Fussy. Delende! Simply sensational! It's gonna be try number 8. And it's DDA. Yay! Oh, yay! South Africa hit 52 with the clock well in the red. Never say die, that's what champions do. Yeah, buddy! Lightweight! Ooh! The conversion to seal the deal. We hope Damien Delende is okay. Looks like he potentially got injured in the process of scoring that try. Johan Jordan Willemse says, go Booker, you'll hit it. Rochelle, what you say, young lady? Booker, you make us proud. Go, boys. Lebok with the conversion. He hasn't been able to miss all night. It's over. Flying through the uprights, and that's the final whistle. It's a wrap, folks. South Africa victorious by 54 points to 7 as the rain trickles down in Cape Town. Conditions not ideal, but the scoreboard ideal for Rassie and the Springboks. Only one try by the Barbarians in the form of Melvin Jamine late on in the second half. But shutout, lights out. Sorry, Barbarians. The Springboks are back in town. Cape Town will be a delight tonight as South Africa start pedaling on their bicycle towards the Italian home series, followed by Georgia to get the reps in for the Rugby Championship. But what a pleasure it's been from every single one of you who's tuned in. I say thank you here on Forever Sports. Valentino Reddy says, and our Bokke are inspiring our other national teams, setting the measuring bar. Proteas captain said Bokke inspired them to winning the World Test Championship. Let's give a shout out to the Proteas as well, of course. Timber Bavuma, you beauty. But it's the Springboks who take the Qatar Airways Cup by 54 points to 7. What a pleasure it's been. From myself, Roots, here on Forever Sports, we brought the Gees. We are nothing without the fans. Graham Henning says, we are number one, of course. Ayanda Mokal, Bokke is fire. Guy Samukhale, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Bokke. Of course, of course, of course. Alec Jason, sir, thank you for the commentary. It's been a pleasure, folks. That's a wrap for now. I'll see you on the other side for the review. But it's the Springboks taking the Qatar Airways Cup 54 to 7. The Barbarians, they're going to have to drown their sorrows now. And we know they like to do that. Honor and brotherhood. Thank you for coming to Cape Town. To the Barbarians, you're up against the champions. You felt it. You experienced it firsthand. What a season of international rugby it's going to be. Until next time, bye for now.